Hello and welcome back to Film Posers for Boricuas ranting, raving, and reviewing cinema. Today on our YouTube channel, we are going to be discussing the tragedy of Macbeth. And this is part of our New York Film Festival coverage. We have been lucky enough to attend the New York Film Festival as press, accredited press that is, and it's been a fun time, and we decided that of course we're going to review this one because so far it's been our favorite of the festival. So let's just get into it. Of course, you probably know what Macbeth is, but just in case, it is directed by Joel Coen of the Coen brothers, even though he is going solo for this flick, and follows Macbeth as he receives prophecy from a trio of witches that one day he will become king of Scotland. Consumed by ambition and spurred to action by his wife, Macbeth murders his king and takes the throne for himself. Spoiler alert. But it's been a couple of years in the making. So, yeah, where to start? It's just,
Masterpiece.
yeah, it's, sorry for my language, but it's delicious as fuck.
Yeah, what can we say other than we absolutely love this? We were thriving watching this film. We were just sitting there next to each other being like, cinema.
Yeah. It is definitely cinematic.
Cinema.
It might just be one of the best films of the year, but of course, you'll quickly notice that we are biased. And speaking onto that, like, we've talked about this before. It is no surprise. We are English majors. We majored in English literature. So we have studied Macbeth, we have studied the text, we have studied Shakespeare. So our opinions will be a little bit biased. We do love the material. And
It's a great material.
yeah, so I think that might lead to say that definitely if you are a Shakespearean fan, if you are a fan of Macbeth, then take our word on it that this is definitely a very loyal and very good adaptation of the source material. That being said, if if you aren't a frequent consumer of Shakespeare, then it might be a little bit overwhelming. Even for me, I had to switch my mind into like finding the correct FM station because it does use the original language, the classical text, and it can be a little bit overwhelming for people that aren't familiar with the story. So definitely brush up on Macbeth before you watch this film because I definitely do think it's one not to miss.
Yeah, it's definitely, if you don't like, old English and you're not a fan of that, then it's going to be very difficult to get through this film because it's loyal to the text in that sense. The only thing that it changes is that it's only an hour and 40 minutes, so it shaves off a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it definitely condenses.
It condenses it. It doesn't, ruin the story in any sense.
It kept the good stuff.
It kept the good monologues. I was worried that they were gonna cut out like the best monologues, but no, they were there, and Josie and we kept looking at each other like, it's coming, it's happening, it's coming. They're gonna say it. They're gonna
tomorrow and tomorrow.
Out, damn spot.
So they kept the good moments, which are a perfect example as to Frances McDormand and Denzel Washington in these roles. They were able to capture those emotions and just the main themes and the essence of the play so well, especially with with being able to condense the play into 1 hour and 40 minutes. It doesn't feel as long, which is good for an average viewer, but it is still able to keep what makes Macbeth Macbeth, especially with again a couple of 100 years in the making. So spoiler alerts are going to be difficult here, but not to go into detail, but of course Macbeth dies. It is a tragedy. So I really liked how they captured that moment because essentially like what the play is about is told in just 5 seconds or less.
It was brilliant.
It was brilliant. And like of course not to give so much praise, but honestly they created something wonderful right here. Making movies is a miracle in and of itself, and it's like this is the second time we're recording this, so like during the first time it was just me gushing about the production design because the production design was
It's
good.
so good. I didn't even know that this film was filmed in a studio.
On a soundstage.
Yeah, on a soundstage. I didn't know until the press conference after because we got to see the cast, and I have never been more starstruck in my
Mhm.
entire life than when Denzel Washington and Frances McDormand were standing right in front of us.
Yeah.
Their power,
Yeah.
their power. They have too much power in their hands, and they know that.
And the thing is that also, like, the main players were great, but then you have people like Corey Hawkins as Macduff, which was phenomenal.
Macduff is such an underrated character, in my opinion. People don't
Yeah.
talk about Macduff enough, but he was great. And when he said the plot twist of the story, which if you are familiar with Macbeth, then you know what it is. But when Macduff reveals it, oh, it's so satisfying. Josie and
Mhm.
I were like clapping silently because obviously no one else was
Yeah.
here. We were there like,
And then you have Moses Ingram as Lady Macduff, and not that much screen time, but she was able to be a
yeah,
scene stealer.
definitely. I think the supporting cast, they all did so well. Banquo,
Anyways, he did a great job as well.
the entire cast. There's not a dull player. Everyone's
Yeah.
great. They all work together. It's a great ensemble cast. Truly.
Yeah, again, it's a 5-star
It's a
film.
5 course meal
Yeah.
with dessert.
What else to say other than, I guess, for Oscar predictions? I do think this should definitely get some attention, especially production design. If it doesn't win production design, I will quit. Frances McDormand, it will depend on how they push her.
Listen, all the best actress nominees hopefuls are shaking. As soon as she delivered the out down spot monologue, oh, you could feel the disturbance in the force. Everyone was like, she's coming again. She's
She's coming
coming again.
again. But yeah, I recommend it.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great time. It's definitely, again, one of my favorites from New York Film Festival so far.
And the
Production,
year.
yeah,
Cinema.
production design, sound design. The story was good. The
Cinematography.
monologues were great. Cinematography goes hand in hand with production design, which just to me is the makings of a masterpiece. And just all the tiny aspects. And again, Joel Cohen was able to capture the story very well.
Yeah.
Frances McDormand did a great job as Lady Macbeth. Denzel Washington did an amazing job as Macbeth. And like honestly, I would put him as a front runner for like lead actor right now. It's that powerful.
It's so powerful. Totally worth me waking you up at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah. Got there at 7 a.m. for the line when the screening was at 10 a.m. So if that doesn't say anything, I don't know what will.
It was worth it.
Mhm.
But we got it, and we got great seats, by the way. Like we got some really great seats. So, and it's a film that if you are able to watch it in theaters, please do, because it's stunning. It's
Yeah.
truly worth seeing. But if you are not comfortable going to theaters yet, then it will be on Apple TV Plus, and you will be able to screen it
Yeah.
there. We're just
Video.
gonna keep gushing about it.
Yeah, this is all for this
In,
video.
in conclusion, it slaps. Go watch.